Welcome back into the Sports Source, this segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine. You know, we're only a couple of months away from the boat show when Madisonville Marine comes to Knoxville. But if you want year-end savings, now is the time to get down to Highway 411 North in Madisonville to check out their enormous selection of boats and all their great prizes. Or prices. I don't know if they've got prizes, but they got great prices. Madisonville Marine, there is no better place to buy a boat this holiday season. All right, gentlemen, I think there is a feeling of inevitability with this team, and I can't ever remember feeling that about a Tennessee basketball team in my lifetime. And what I mean is, if you go up against a Kansas or a North Carolina and you lead the whole way and there's 3 minutes to go, you find yourself on the couch still saying, they're going to come back. Or if that team is ahead, they're not going to blow this. I'm starting to feel that way about Tennessee. Now, I know they're going to lose a game or two. Every team does. But this team, to me, I feel more confident in this team going into every game than I have any previous Tennessee team, including the great 31-win team that you were part of that staff. There were some interesting tweets yesterday, one from me, one from someone else over at the SEC Network. Let's take a look at what Peter Burns said over on SEC Network. This fall hoops team might be my favorite college basketball squad in the last decade. Bona fide stars in Schofield and Williams, fantastic role players, a team that isn't afraid to be coached hard, and a Hall of Fame coach willing to do so in Rick Barnes. Like a college basketball version of the 2007 Spurs. Wow. Here's what I put up yesterday, Mr. Negative. Enjoy it, Vols fans. They'll drop one or two they shouldn't. They'll have to deal with adversity, but this team provides the best combination of coaching, talent, mental toughness I've ever seen in UT Orange. Sky's the limit. I even included the GIF file of Leonardo DiCaprio clapping, and yet still somebody said I was being negative. How dare you mention that they're going to lose a couple of games? I'm not kidding you. Somebody said that was negative. All right, here's my thing. Am I too goo-goo-eyed over this Tennessee basketball team?
I don't think you're too goo-goo-eyed over it. I got where you were when they came back against Gonzaga. After getting down 9, they came back, and I thought, not too many Tennessee basketball teams have done this, and I thought they did it in, like you said, a tough fashion, not so much, wow, they just got so much talent that it wasn't. I think the toughness, that's what I like about the team, I think, more than anything. Yeah, they're talented, but I just like that they're mentally tough.
Yeah, I think it's the toughness factor, it's the consistency and the discipline factor, and their togetherness. Right? They're so cohesive on both sides of the floor. They don't beat themselves. The Pearl teams, and when we won 31 games, there's more firepower, right? They could go on a 9-0 run in 45 seconds because they get a turnover. Chris Lofton knocked down a couple threes, Jawan Smith would, and that excitement level was high with the press. But this team, you know what you're going to get. They play hard. They play together. They are an incredibly fun basketball team to watch.
All right, so I got two people here that say I'm not too goo-goo-eyed.
I'm not sure about the word inevitability yet, but I find myself liking this team more and more. I said last week I didn't think they'd beat Gonzaga. Well, they did. So I can understand you feeling that way. Part of your question is this the best UT team in your lifetime? And I thought about that, and you go back to how could a team with Bernard King, Ernie Grunfeld, Reggie Johnson, and Mike Jackson all on the same team, how could that not be the best team ever? But when you look at what they accomplished, I mean, just in the regular season, that team lost 6 or 7 games in the regular season. This team could be.
I would also wonder what kind of parallel with football being down and have struggled for as long as they have. Now that basketball, we're just searching for more excitement and love of wins. And I do think it has a correlation to where if football was winning, basketball, this is still a football town.
Right. I agree. I don't think that's why I'm wowed by this team, though. I mean, I'll give you an example. At the end of yesterday's game, when Tennessee's whole team balled up their fists and came run over there to fight, according to Penny Hardaway, there were no camera shots of that, but apparently that happened. You did have what looked like it was going to be a scrap there at the end of the game. A Jerry Green team would have been pulling switchblades.
Yeah.
You would have had the fist fight. Well, am I wrong? That 2007 Pearl team, I mean, there would have been some fighting going on. I thought yesterday just showed they kind of take on the personality of Rick Barnes. They just take it as it comes, and it's a little bit, you go up against Gonzaga. I said they're not going to beat Gonzaga. That team's averaged 98 points. I don't think you can slow them down. You hold them to 73. Then you go out to Memphis yesterday. It's like, oh, it's going to be up-tempo. We'll beat you that way too. No. I don't remember seeing that in previous, for example, that 07-08 team. and we said this throughout the Pearl years, if they ever faced a Butler-type team or a team that wouldn't run with them, trouble. This team, they can win all different styles.
Yeah. Or even when they win, Admiral Schofield has another great game. People start talking about him getting the publicity. He quickly passes it to Grant Williams on Twitter, and then Grant Williams quickly passes the praise back to them and the rest of their teammates.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible culture that Barnes has built.
Vince Ferrari did a thing with the Vol Network this week where he talked to Kyle Alexander about the love that Rick Barnes showed Admiral Schofield after the Gonzaga game, and Alexander sounded like he was as happy for Schofield as Rick Barnes was. It's what you're talking about. Really tight team, really good team, easy guys to pull for.
And one thing, is real quick, is they've been around the block enough now, they've seen everything. They've seen teams that want to fight and get into a scrap. They've seen the teams that run. They've seen the. I think when you've got a bunch of these guys that leave early in the NBA, you lose games because it's like, oh, I haven't seen this before. This team has seen everything just about you're going to see in college basketball.
Something funny, somebody sent me a link to a Kentucky message board after Tennessee had beaten Gonzaga. And Kentucky fans were going on and on about this Tennessee team and how they were going to beat Kentucky. And they were basically saying what you're saying. Yeah, but they're not making a lot of millions of dollars for their players in the NBA. Kind of a sarcastic, we do the churn and they do the winning, which if you're Kentucky, cry me a river. Still, though, heck of a Tennessee basketball team. Not saying they're going to go undefeated, but, man, it's a fun team to watch. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look at the remaining 12 top targets on the board. Vince and Ryan are going to tell you who's hot, who's cold for Tennessee. Come on back, we'll run through it.